Welcome to Bitches in Season, a podcast for everyone who loves dogs,
all things agility, and some spicy tea. I'm Lizzie.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Lindsay.
Bitches in Season.
Hey, ladies.
Hi.
We're here for a really fun new special kind of episode. Rachel, what are we doing today that's different?
Today, we're going to do a quick, fun little bonus episode where we're actually going to explain some agility terms and some of the shorthand speak that we do throughout our episodes for people who may not be as heavily involved in the dog sport world as some of our other listeners are. We've gotten some feedback that maybe some of the terms that we use are not like terms that they hear in everyday like conversation. So we just wanted to take a moment to like kind of define those terms, make it fun, not just like educational and be like, this is what a double Q means, but like put a fun spin on it and kind of make everyone feel included and able to understand what we're talking about in every episode.
So from the outset, we never wanted to be like, we are an educational podcast because number one, we're just dumb bitches who don't know anything.
We have dumb opinions, big opinions.
And we just talk like we know everything.
It's true.
You know, someone was like, Lindsay, you said you've been doing agility for 10 years. Like, you've been doing it so long. Like, okay, I know I haven't been doing it that long. Okay, 10 years is like a drop in the bucket compared to some of the OG people. But we do use a lot of terminology that can get in the weeds, especially if you're not like a hardcore, truly insane agility person like us. So to start, we're going to actually open up by talking about these little fun phrases that we put on our sticker sheet. So Rachel made us a cute sticker sheet, and each of them has a little catchphrase that we all came up with. And we want to explain them because they're just kind of inside jokes with us right now. And why would you want a sticker that you don't understand the inside joke of? So Lizzie has 2 dogs, so she got 2 stickers, and now she gets to go first.
Okay, so my sticker catchphrases are justice for Obi and angel goggles.
And who came up with both of those phrases?
You, obviously.
So you can explain it from your point of view, but then I want to explain my perspective on what they mean.
Okay, so the justice for Obi is literally exactly what it means, justice for Obi, because, well, in my point of view, Obi can be a little naughty. He's very pushy, and sometimes I may do a yell at him when yelling is not always
just a slight yelling.
Yeah, so my friends have come up with the term justice for Obi.
Because
stop yelling at Obi.
We love him. And actually, your 2 stickers are related because the other one is
angel goggles.
And what are angel goggles?
Angel goggles I call my little tiny angel an angel because he's an angel and a gift from the heavens because he's an angel. He's never done a thing wrong.
Throw up.
His life. I'm sorry.
He's a tiny angel.
All right, you're cut off because here's what's true. Okay, Lizzie's dogs are both chaotic Aussies.
Yes.
You walk into their house or you see them at a trial and they almost like dislocate her shoulder. They've literally knocked her over.
No, I don't know.
And they're both chaos Aussies, and that's fine. That's what she loves, the chaos.
I love that.
But with Cassian, she has a visual impairment that's called angel goggles, and it's where she physically can't see him do anything wrong ever.
No. And that's why we say justice for Obi because
Obi does the same shit, or Cassian does it worse, and Cassian's just a perfect little prince.
And she doesn't yell at him, she only yells at Obi.
Yeah, and it's like, if you walk in this house, here's what you're going to hear. Obi, stop it. Obi, stop. And it's like, ma'am, Cassian is the one flinging his body around, like body slamming everyone, punching Obi in the face.
He has a big butt, and he just doesn't understand.
He doesn't know how to use it.
No.
So if you have
wiggling.
angel goggles and you can't see your dog do anything wrong. So Josh says I have angel goggles because I look at vision and say, he's not a very barky Sheltie, or he's really good. What does he ever do wrong? And honestly, I can't think of a single thing, but I'm sure Josh could.
He does do a lot of licking.
He does. So you don't.
His piranha bites.
What? Are you telling me that Vision has flaws?
Yeah.
And that, my friends, is angel goggles. So if you too have angel goggles, or you have a dog that deserves some justice, you might want those stickers. Rachel, tell us about Chessie's sticker.
So Chessie's sticker is don't be a stressy Chessie, because she can be a stressy Chessie sometimes.
Explain what is a stressy Chessie.
She just like pants and just as her stressing, she just stresses a little bit sometimes.
She drools.
She drools excessively.
Does do a big drool.
Excessive.
but like in a cute, adorable way.
No, it's
Adorable, right?
disgusting. It is so gross.
I have angel goggles for Chessie.
Ugh.
Everyone does. We use this. Everyone uses this phrase. The husbands use this phrase. It's like, don't be a stressy Chessie.
Are
And like
you being a stressy Chessie?
a human can be a stressy Chessie,
Yeah.
or it's also a condition. You can have the stressy Chessie. Like as a
Yeah.
You can
condition.
be stressed and be
Yeah.
a stressy Chessie. So
Yeah.
it is a phrase that everyone uses, and it's just when Chessie's being a little bit stressy.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
And the rhyme
It's
is adorbs.
usually when she's in a car and not in a crate. That's like the prime example of her being a stressy Chessie.
We created her the moment she came home, and so if we put her in a back seat and she's not crated, she does the stressy Chessie.
She drools all over the seat. She's like panting heavily. You think she's dying. It's a stressy Chessie.
Yeah,
That's just how it goes. So if you too have a stressy Chessie, maybe that's your sticker. And mine is just simple. My dog is my boyfriend.
Yeah, explain.
And that's like a totally normal
Right.
and non-problematic thing to say about your dog, right? Like
when you have a husband.
when you have a husband who has big feelings about your like
dog
hyper
friend.
fixation on your boy
Dog.
dog. So when I went to my first big event with Vision, it was the US Open. I'd never been to any national event. I'd never traveled for agility at all. And people would say like, "Oh, is your husband coming?" And I would say, "No, I'm going on a vacation with my boyfriend." And Josh would be like, "That makes me want to vomit." He said he's going to burn all the stickers that say
Yep,
my dog is
yep.
my boyfriend. But like Vision, he's so handsome.
Right.
And we just cuddle. And like, he's just like my little boyfriend. I love him. And
Yeah.
if you have boy dogs, you know what it's like. Like he
Yes.
wraps himself around my neck like a scarf
Yeah,
and he
they
wants
want to
to
be inside
crawl
your
in
skin.
my skin
Yeah.
and just says, "Mommy, let me wear the skin suit today."
That's
Yeah.
why I say bitches forever.
Yeah.
Never and ever. and
No,
ever.
you need a cuddly,
Yeah, you
deranged
need
boy
One day.
who just adores you and can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
No.
no,
Yeah.
that's the boy dog life.
And you have one husband, I don't need another.
Okay, so that's us defining our own terminology, and hopefully you'll think our sticker sheets are super cute too. But because we throw around a lot of terms, we wanted to surface a few of them, I should say, in a kind of fun way. I used to be a teacher, so I had to like put my little teacher hat on.
She did.
And I was really strict with Rachel and Lizzie, and I didn't tell them anything about what we're doing. So
It's a surprise.
we are playing Agility Jeopardy. Do, 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 do. Okay, so the categories are agility terms,
Okay.
national and international events,
Okay.
other dog sport terminology,
Mhm.
confirmation terminology,
Okay.
and mixed bag.
Mixed bag.
So just like preface this because I did some quick research and like if I'm wrong, I'm sorry about any of these terms, but I did my best. But let's get started. So the way this game's going to work is I'm going to give you a chance to pick a category. I'll give you a question. We're not keeping score because who has time for that? And you're going to buzz in. Lizzie's going to say buzz and Rachel's going to say ding. And whoever chimes in first is going to get to answer. And don't forget that it's Jeopardy. So you have to answer in the form of a question or I'm not giving you your points. Okay? You're not getting points if you don't answer in a question.
Okay.
Okay. So reminder, agility terms, national and international events, other dog sport terminology, terminology, and mixed bag.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So Lizzie sooner in the alphabet, so you go first. Pick a
Okay. I'm
category.
going to say agility terms for 400.
Agility terms for 400. This term describes a fault when a dog runs past the correct obstacle or stops before it.
What is a refusal?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yay!
400 points for Lizzie.
Cool.
So I think one of the most jarring things of going to my first trial was not knowing what a refusal is.
was.
I think we
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah,
that in
we
one of our
did.
episodes where I was
Yeah.
like, what do you mean I don't get a clean run?
A refusal is when a dog runs past the plane of an obstacle. The judge will call a refusal.
Or stops on the approach to an obstacle. Which I'm not going to lie. I find refusals really hard. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people like debating on
Yeah.
the internet about is this a refusal, is that? Like should they call it, shouldn't they? Like
yeah.
I think it's a hard one to learn
It's
for the
also
average Joe.
I will say, in my experience of going to agility trials and competing in trials, it's kind of objective to the judge as well.
Subjective.
Oh, yeah. Subjective. Yes, it 1000% is. Also, in AKC specifically, like time to beat doesn't have any refusals.
Mhm.
So your dog can run a time to beat course and like stop in front of a jump and still cue. But obviously in say open jumpers, you only get one refusal.
Or in Masters and
Or
Excellent,
you
get
get
zero.
zero.
So, yeah. So that's a refusal. It's an interesting term and it comes up a lot, but not something I feel like instructors cover
Really
enough.
cover,
Or maybe
yeah.
everyone doesn't have a good enough understanding of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Lizzie gets to pick again since she won. And don't forget to buzz in. Okay. Lizzie, pick the next category.
Let's do confirmation terminology for 200.
The written description of the ideal dog of a particular breed. Rachel.
What is a breed standard?
Yes!
Yay!
Okay, so tell us, I don't know, what's a breed standard from your
So the
definition?
breed standard is you can find it on the Parent Club website. It's basically the definition of what makes up the breed.
It's the written description of what makes the breed. So there's different categories like head, coat,
Temperament.
structure, movement. Yeah, all of the combined things. It's forequarters, the hindquarters, the tail if your dog has a tail.
And it's like this culmination of, decades or centuries of breeding these
Yeah.
dogs to conform
yes.
to this breed standard.
Correct.
That's where the term conformation comes from. It's how well the dog conforms to the breed standard. Fascinating. And that's why it's spelled conformation, where
Not
people
confirmation.
people spell it wrong all the time.
Kills me when
All the
people
time.
spell it incorrectly.
Okay, Rachel, next category.
Agility terms for 200.
This handling maneuver involves the handler crossing in front of the dog with their back to the dog to change sides.
Buzz.
Lizzie,
A blind cross.
in the form of a question, please.
Oh, what is a blind cross?
You got it. So, who's the blind queen?
You. Lindsay
is
is
the blind queen.
Yes.
I literally can't do a rear cross. I can, but I'm so uncomfy with them.
It's so bad.
And
yeah.
I just always love to do a blind. Honestly, sometimes you guys have even said I do blinds where I shouldn't have, or I should have bailed on them. But I just like them. I feel like they help the dog run.
Made me do more blinds. I never used to do blinds.
Yeah, you
ever.
were rear crossy McGee.
Yes, I was. And
okay, but I really like blinds because I feel like they help the dog stay in extension and can really push for speed. Whereas with rear crosses, you have to sometimes let the dog get ahead of you, and depending on your dog and the course, that could cost you a little bit of time potentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Lizzie got that one right. You picked the next category.
Okay, let's do national and international events for 200.
This is the premier national agility event hosted by the American Kennel Club.
Lizzie?
I
think I know it. What is NAC?
Yeah, NAC.
Yeah.
The AKC National Agility Championship, often referred to as NAC.
Yeah, okay.
And I would say among all of us, Rachel probably has the strongest goals to go to NAC.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I did qualify for this past year's NAC, but I opted not to go because it was so close to the UKI Invitational. But NAC is really cool. And if you do well, you can also get some additional bonuses from doing well at NAC. A lot of people get Premier Cup invites.
Which is another
AKC
event, invite only.
Invite only. They say there's really no rhyme or reason to who gets invited to the Premier Cup. It is not posted anywhere. You cannot look it up. You cannot learn how you qualify. People will just either get in envelopes at NAC for making finals or getting to a certain point in NAC, or they'll get a letter in the mail saying that they've been invited.
But it's usually performing well at big AKC events.
Correct.
Yeah. You want to tell everybody how you qualify for NAC?
Yes. Actually, the qualifications have changed for the NAC 2026, but the qualifications that I qualified for NAC this year in 2025 was earning 7 double Qs and 400 or 550 mock points. Points are points that you earn based on how fast you run in a master's jumpers or standard AKC course.
So it's the number of seconds you are under course time.
Essentially speed points.
Yeah. Cool. So NAC is one of many national events by
AKC.
By all the organizations have national events, and NAC is AKC's big national event. And next year it's going to be in California, which is
and that to say that qualifications have actually lowered. You only need 4 double Qs to qualify and 450 mock points.
Probably because they expect a little bit lower entry,
yeah.
so they're making the barrier to entry lower, because last year it was in the Midwest in Tulsa. Okay, Lizzie, won that one too. Next,
Let's do mixed bag for 200.
mixed bag for 200. This is a term used by some people to describe breeders who don't do proper health testing, prove their dogs, or they breed for profit or don't breed to better the breed or some combination. Oh my God. Or some combination of all those things. Let's go with Rachel.
Go for it, Rach.
Backyard breeder. Do you write, what is a backyard breeder?
Ding, 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 ding. You got it. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that in one of our upcoming episodes a little bit more in depth, but we have strong thoughts about backyard
Strong
breeders.
thoughts, strong feelings. Yes.
Okay, Rachel, pick the next category.
Let's do national and international for 400.
Okay, this national UKI event also serves as the tryouts for the US WAO team, which is the World Agility Open.
Ding.
Rachel,
What is UKI US Open?
that is correct.
Yay.
And that's the first event we went to together nationally. So that was it's held in Jacksonville for the last couple years and will be for the next few years. And if you go to the UKI US Open, you can just be there to compete like normal, but you can also put your name in the consideration for the US WAO team.
Yeah, which I did last year.
Yeah. So the thing that is cool about the US Open is you don't actually need anything to go to qualify.
That's why it's
because
called an open.
I know, but some people don't know that.
Sure. So you could have never done UKI
and you
and
could
show
just
up and
go.
go to the US
Yeah.
Open. And a lot of people do, international handlers do.
And you can earn buys that can get you into like round 2 or round whatever. But if you're Rachel, you had 0 buys
you
and
have
then
to fight your way up from the bottom.
and she did. She
And
sure
she did.
did.
I got picked as an alternate for the WAO team.
Yeah,
with
she did.
0 buys.
And
so
last year, Lindsay was on WAO, and this year you were also an alternate.
Yeah, it's super fun. So the US Open definitely has a special place in my heart. My first national event I ever went to, my first international team I ever made. So super fun.
we love it.
We love it. Okay, next category.
I'm going to stick with national international for 600.
These two FCI international events send teams from the USA from tryouts that are hosted by the AKC.
Ding.
Rachel.
What is the European Open and the Agility World Championship?
Yes, that's correct. So great answers. First, I have to define the FCI is an acronym that stands for some words in another language that I do not know how to pronounce. But essentially, the FCI is like the AKC of the world. It's a pure breed dog club of the world. The AKC and the US actually aren't members, but we're invited as guests to their international world championship. So there's 2 of them, the AWC Agility World Championship
And a European Open.
and the European Open. And I was also fortunate enough to be on the AWC Team USA last year. They take 4 dogs per jump height and 4 jump heights. So there were 16 of us, and it was in Belgium, and it was unbelievably amazing.
Yeah, and I think we can probably do an episode and more in depth of world teams maybe one day. But the really cool thing about the AWC world team is that AKC pays for everything, which is unlike any other world team. So any other world team, it being WAO, the EO, etc., you have to pay your way to get there. Like nobody is paying for you to go internationally compete. But AWC, AKC pays for everything.
Yeah, almost everything.
It is pretty damn cool.
It was pretty damn cool. I have to admit, I'm very lucky. And the AWC and EO actually changes countries every year.
Yes, right.
Whereas the WAO for the last couple years and the foreseeable future has been at the same place in the Netherlands every year. So this coming year it's in AWC's in Sweden, EO's in Portugal, and that'll change year over year. And they announced that.
It's in Finland next year.
AWC. Yeah.
It also, just side note for people who have dog breeds, like there are certain countries that dog breeds cannot compete, but this year in Portugal, dog breeds are allowed to compete.
And Lizzie means docked, like docked tails or cropped ears
because internationally
some European countries allow that and some don't.
Yeah.
Okay, next category.
Me again. Okay. Let's do agility terms for 600.
This is the common term for an agility run that qualifies the handler for a leg in that organization.
What is a Q?
Did not ding, but yes, what is a cue?
I was like, I don't know. This sounds too simple.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But that's probably one of the main terms that we use all the time, Q, double Q, that people maybe don't know what that means.
Just there. Just a qualifying run.
So one thing to note is that can be the same or sometimes different from the term clean run.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
True. So a clean run, you can be completely clean, no faults, no refusals, no knocked bars, but you can also be overtime, which wouldn't necessarily give you a qualification.
Or sometimes, depending on the level, you could get a Q but not have a clean run.
Yeah.
And some organizations let you have a bar or a fault.
Or if you're in open, you can have one refusal, or if you're a novice, you can have two refusals.
Right. So that's where the terminology gets tricky, because sometimes a Q is what you're after, but sometimes a clean run is what you're after, but then you factor in time. So there's a lot of considerations, especially based on your goals. Like some people just want to run clean and not make any mistakes, and some people want to go for it.
Yeah, if you were me on Saturday, you didn't really care about having a beautiful clean run. You just wanted to get the fucking Q.
Right. Yeah. So that's the name of the game.
Yep.
Okay. Lizzie, next category.
Let's do conformation 600.
This is the food or toy a handler uses to get the dog's attention in the show ring.
Buzz, what is bait?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always find that funny because in agility, we never say bait.
No.
Why is it bait?
You're baiting the dog. You're literally baiting them to stand there and stand still.
And that's crazy to me.
And
so in the conformation ring, you can bring food?
Yes. Yeah, you can. There are a lot of people who will hold the food in their mouth.
Yeah, I remember.
Or they have like meatballs, or like a lot of professional handlers have steak or like very hardcore bait.
Right. So when I was growing up, like my house would reek of fucking baked liver.
Oh, no.
And then my dad's girlfriend would put that in her mouth.
I've seen people do that.
Isn't that so nasty?
Yeah, I've done, I put St. Rocco's in my mouth.
I wish you could see my face right now.
It's not that gross. Also, I only do the chicken ones.
They do use human grade meat.
Yes, yeah. And they don't taste that bad.
And they only have 5 ingredients.
Yes.
He eats these as snacks.
No, I do not. I do not eat them as snacks.
One of the dudes from St. Rocco said that he's tried every flavor.
Yeah,
so.
well, good.
Okay, well. All right, next question, please.
Let's do other dog sport something for 200.
In scent work, this is the term for when a dog indicates the source of the odor.
Buzz alert. What is an alert?
Yes, that's correct.
Sorry, I don't watch a lot of Jeopardy, okay?
Okay, so it's the same the whole game.
Okay.
Answer is a question. Lizzie, you've been doing nose work.
Yes, I have. Obi has his first real nose work trial. He got his ORT, which is a qualifying thing that you need before you enter a trial.
And ORT stands for
odor recognition test. And so he has his first NACSW NW1 trial and in 3 weeks, actually.
So that's like the very beginning level.
Yeah. You cannot enter levels. Like you can't even enter a trial unless you have the NW1 pass. Like they won't even let you be on a wait list. So
And what's Obi's alert? Like how do you know?
He freezes. He tries to put his nose on it and he just freezes and stands there. And if I don't,
different dogs do different alerts?
Yeah, some will like lay down, some don't really do much of an alert at all. You just have to know from their body language. Yeah, but Obi will freeze. And then if I don't reward him quickly enough, he turns back at me and looks at me and then he freezes again. So, very Obi-like.
What a smarty pants.
He is.
Okay, next category.
What is, let's do another of the other dog sport terminology for 600.
In field trials, this is the term for retrieve where the dog does not see the bird fall and must be directed by the handler. Ooh, I stumped you.
Yeah. What is a blind?
Close. What is a blind retrieve?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been learning a lot from our friend Sydney, who just actually got her first pass in their hunting retrieve test, which yay, Sydney and
That's
Vespa.
so fun.
And I even helped her do some practice with Vespa for her field hunt test.
So you had an unfair advantage.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know much about field trials, and only hunting breeds can do them, but that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, next category.
Let's just go through the rest of these.
Okay. The name of a document that includes lots of information about a dog event, including classes offered, judge, and entry form.
Buzz. what is a premium?
That is true.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. Have you, and I need to ask both of you, have you guys ever fully read through a premium?
Well,
Have you ever fully read through a premium?
Well, I used to have to make premiums. I was a
Okay.
trial secretary.
Okay.
And like, there's certain stuff you don't read, like where the hotels are and the
Yeah.
written directions. The written directions to a place cracks me up because
Yeah.
like we came of age in GPS. Like who is going to look at a premium and be like, turn left on this road?
Oh my
But they do
gosh.
you should read the premiums.
Yes, you should, because I'll do a quick story time. It was like my first trial, and I'm gonna make it quick. Obi had his tag attached to his collar, and
didn't read the
AKC,
premium.
if I read the fucking premium and I took his tag off his collar, I would have gotten a cue, but I didn't. So,
well, that is people's favorite thing to say is like if you ask them a question, they're like, "It's in the premium.
it's in the
Should have read the premium.
You should have read the premium.
But honestly,
That's
you
for every
should have read the premium.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you show up somewhere and the premium said, like, don't let your dog potty in this area, and then you do, like, you're an asshole. You should have read. So,
Yeah, and for, like, nose work, they're very particular. Like, there's a lot of reactive dogs who come to nose work trials, and they have a whole separate reactivity, like a reactive parking lot for reactive dogs. So you have to read that in the premium.
Interesting.
who knew?
Yeah.
Okay, next category.
Just keep going through those questions.
Okay. In this sport, teams of dogs raced against each other over a line of hurdles to a box that releases a tennis ball.
What is fly ball?
No. Shut up. Negative 1,000 points. You didn't do your ding. Rachel?
What is fly ball?
Yeah,
Whatever.
good job. Okay, that's just another fun dog sport. None of us know anything.
I don't
really about
know
volleyball.
a single thing.
But
Don't ask me anything.
Seems really intense and it's popular on TV.
Yeah.
Okay, last other dog sport question. This is a canine sport where dogs and handlers perform choreographed routines to music.
Ding.
Rachel?
What is freestyle?
Yes. So it's called musical canine freestyle or heel work to music.
Yes. There's a Hulu show that everyone should go watch and cry to because it was so good.
It was so
It
good.
was all about people who were competing in crafts for musical freestyle.
It was so emotional. I cried.
Yeah.
Wow.
I loved it.
Yeah.
So Crufts is like the UK's like biggest
yeah.
national dog
It's like our
event.
Westminster.
But
But like bigger.
Yeah,
Bigger.
way
Way
bigger.
bigger.
Way bigger.
our version of Westminster.
But they have like more dog sports, more vendors, a
Yeah.
larger arena, all those
Yeah.
things. Okay, I'm just going to pick the next one. Sorry,
Go
you don't
for
get a
it.
choice. This is the name of the agility championship title sought after in AKC by earning 20 double Qs and 750 speed points or championship points.
Ding.
Rachel,
What is a MA?
which is bonus points for telling.
Masters Agility Championship.
Yeah, or could be a POC,
POC,
right?
which is the preferred
Agility
agility
champ.
championship, which is basically means that you dropped your dog down a jump height. It is the same title, the same qualifications. It just means they earned it at a lower jump height than their standard
The one they
jump height.
measured
Yeah.
into. And what's a double Q?
It's when you earn a master's standard and a master's jumping cue in the same day at the same trial.
Right.
And I hate it.
Which is a challenging mental game because if you run the
is.
first one clean, then you're on edge for the second.
Yeah.
If you run the first one with some mistakes, then
You say go home.
then you get sad and
You say,
in your
I'm going
feelings,
to
and you're
go
like,
take a
why,
walk.
why do I do this silly
Yeah.
sport? I hate
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one method of teaching criteria for the A-frame or the dog walk in which the dog doesn't stop.
Ding.
Rachel.
What is a running contact?
Right. And running contacts are super tough to teach
Super hard. Yeah.
in some regards for some
Yeah.
dogs. And then the other opportunity is
Stop
a
contact.
stopped contact. Well, so that's the agility category is spent. The next category that still has some questions is national and international events. The top 5 agility dogs of each breed receive an invitation to this AKC event.
As the AKC Invitational.
Yes. So that is called NAI, National
Yeah.
Agility Invitational. And those are based on points that the dogs
Yeah.
receive throughout the year. I honestly don't really know.
I'm
how
not
you get
really
into
sure.
that.
I'm not really sure.
But
I'm going
I,
to have to literally trial every
Every
single
single
weekend of my
weekend.
life
Yeah.
to qualify for Pembroke.
Yeah.
so what I will say they do know about it is like less popular agility dogs do not need a trial as much.
Agility breeds.
Breeds, sorry. Yeah. Breeds. But like dogs, say like a border collie, it is very, very, very hard for them to qualify. They would have to be qualifying or trying to qualify every single weekend to get an invite. So yeah. Cool.
And that one tends to obviously have the most diverse like number of breeds there because there are potentially 5 dogs from every breed.
Yes.
So that's a real crowd pleaser because not everybody likes to see 500 Shelties and Border Collies competing.
Yep. And it's usually in Orlando, Florida every year.
Yeah. This international competition is being held in Switzerland this year starting June 16th.
Ding.
Yes.
IFCS.
Yes, so that is the IFCS World Agility Championship. And similar to FCI, IFCS is just another international organization that America is a member. The USA is a member through only USDAA.
Okay.
So each country has like an agility organization that is a member of IFCS. And then they have this World Agility Championship, and that also moves around. And this year it happens to be in Switzerland. And I really don't know that much about it, but I believe you have to go to USCA Nationals, which is called Cynosport, in order to try out, to be considered, but you can submit videos as your tryout. So they don't use Cynosport as the tryout, but I think you have to go.
Interesting. Okay, so it's similar to WAO then, in a sense.
Yes and no, because I don't think there's win-on spots and stuff like that. I think it's just like, I think you have, I could be wrong, but I think you have to go to be considered, but then I believe you submit videos and apply separately.
You can submit videos. Also, I will mention that having the smallest jump height dog in the group, IFCS and WAO, are the 2 international teams that an 8-inch dog can
try out for
and jump at their designated height.
Well, even though internationally it's 10 inches, but it like you would never jump chassis at 12.
No. So like AWC and EO, the smallest jump height is 12 inches, and I would never jump her at that.
Yeah.
I would jump her at 10 inches for WAO and IFCS.
So those are ones that maybe are in your goals.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along here, back to conformation where Lizzie can crush it. The award for the best dog that is of the opposite sex to the best of breed winner.
Best of opposite sex.
I still don't understand Jeopardy.
Oh my gosh, what is the best of opposite sex? Oh, okay.
So that is the award. And what does that mean? What happens if you win it?
It's second place is what that means.
So the first loser.
Yeah, basically. So say a male dog goes best of breed. The best of opposite sex will have to be a bitch. And it basically means they came in second place. Oh, yeah.
But at least second place can't be a boy in that scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. The title conferred upon a dog that has earned 15 points in conformation shows and includes at least 2 major wins.
Ding.
Rachel?
Wait, what is a championship?
Yeah, and Cassie's well on his way to earning his championship.
He's so close. Not going to finish him myself, but he's going to get finished.
What does finish him mean? That's another term.
He is going to get all of his majors, all of his points, and then be a Finnish conformation champion.
But you're not finishing him yourself, meaning...
A professional handler will be finishing him that I'm going to send him with. So, yeah.
And some people do that because the pros can get it done. This is the general appearance of all the features of a dog's head.
You stumped me.
What is expression?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Expression.
When you explain it so weird like that.
Yeah, it sounds so weird. Yeah. Well, I feel like I know nothing. Yeah, what is expression? So it's just basically the look of the dog, and do they look expressive? Like, do they look like they have like life in their face, basically? You know, like they don't look like a dead soul behind those eyes. So,
like they have like a spark.
Yeah. Joy.
This term describes the longer hair on the ears, tail, and body of some breeds.
Okay, this I know. What is feathering?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So what's a breed that has feathering?
Well,
a walker?
Oh,
yeah. Oh,
what's a walker?
What is a walker? A working line English Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah.
Right.
So they have
or maybe like a Brittany Spaniel.
Yeah.
A lot of Spaniels
so it's
have
like
feathering.
A dog that doesn't have like a super heavy coat, but they have like more or less of a coat.
Like a setter.
And they have like, feathering on their tail or like on their legs and their
belly.
Yeah.
This is the term for a dog's level when competing in an AKC event with a handler who has never earned a title with any dog in that AKC sport.
What is a novice A?
Yes. So novice A in agility means you're in novice, but you're in this like A category where you're only actually competing place-wise against other people who've never earned an agility title.
Yeah.
And obedience has it. I think also AKC Rally has it.
Yeah, kind of.
That's why you hear a lot of agility people particularly refer to their dog as their novice A dog because it's the first dog that they started doing sports with.
Right. And that makes it like extra special or maybe sometimes extra impressive when someone's like, can you believe this is my novice A dog? Like Chessie or Obi, oh my gosh, like all of what I accomplished with my first dog ever doing sports. So even though it's an AKC term, people use it outside of AKC to refer to the first dog that they ever did agility or a different sport with.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the app used by some agility organizations to display the real-time running order.
What is Agility Gate?
You're really bad at buzzing.
Buzz.
Yes, Agility Gate is a really cool app that we love to use.
I wish more people
at local
used
trials.
it. Yes.
Yeah, you can. You don't have to like check in on a physical paper. You just check in on an app, and then you can see live who's running. So if you're creating from the car or anywhere else, you can check that app and see what's
like this weekend. I can check.
Right, like where the run order is and how many dogs until you're up and all those good things. Okay, final Jeopardy.
Okay.
You have to be the first one to tell me the agility organization, match it with the name that they call their class where you can jump the dogs one jump height down. So every organization, you measure your dog, it jumps at that height. But they all have an additional option where you can jump one jump height down. I'll give you a hint. CPE has 2, where you can jump 1 jump height down or 2 jump heights down. So 4 inches or 8 inches lower. So I'm going to say the name of the organization, and you have to be the first one to tell me what they call that category. Okay. So let's start with UKI.
Buzz. What is select?
That is correct. Yeah. So in UKI, if your dog measures to jump 12, but you jump them at 8, then you're jumping in the select class and you're scored against all the other select dogs. Or maybe they will call you like 8S instead of 12. Yeah. Okay. AKC.
Ding. What is preferred?
That is correct. USDAA.
Ding. What is performance?
That is correct.
Wow, good job, Rachel.
Okay, CPE, there's 2 answers.
Buzz. What is veteran?
Okay, so veteran, there's actually technically 3 then. And I think USDA also has veteran. Not all of them do, but that's also one where at a certain age, your dog can jump 100 jump height down. In CPE, at any age, you can jump 1 or 2 jump heights down in these 2 categories.
Okay, I do not know them.
They are called enthusiast and specialist.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
That's fun.
And then bonus, maybe Lizzie will know, ASCA, they have one too.
Yeah, ACE.
Right,
yeah,
the ACE
I
program.
Know that. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of in-the-weeds terminology in dog sports in general, and I think it's easy when we know them really well to just be spouting them, but we wanted to make this special little bonus episode to try to explain that. So if you're following along and you don't talk about it all the time, you can learn a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed it. Sorry we didn't play like real Jeopardy the whole time.
Sorry I suck at Jeopardy.
We don't want to be like too educational, and honestly, maybe we messed up some facts here, but hopefully it helps you at least follow along with what we're talking about. And we hope you liked our first bonus episode. Obviously, still follow us on social media, Instagram, Bitches in Season, Facebook, Bitches in Season with a 1 in it because, Facebook and their cursing rules. And then where can you find our podcast, Lizzie?
Amazon Music, YouTube, Apple, Spotify.
Yeah. So listen to our podcast. We're generally releasing every 2 weeks, but maybe we'll throw a fun bonus episode in there for us every once in a while.
All right. We hope you keep listening.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.